How wonder is the living world. The wide range of living types is amazing. The extraordinary habits in which we find living organisms, be it cold mountains, deciduous forest, ocean, freshwater lakes, desert, or hot springs, leave us speechless. The beauty of clapping, hours of the migrating birds, the value of flower of the attacking shark evoke away and a deep sense of wonder. The ecological conflict and cooperations among member of population and among population of community or even the molecular traffic inside a cell make us deeply reflect on what inside is life. Questions has to implicate questions within it. The first is a technique one and seek answer to what living is as opposed to the non-living, and the second is a philosophical one and seek answer to what the purpose of life. As scientists, we shall not attempt answering the second questions. We will try to reflect on what is living. 1.1 Diversity in the living world. If you look around, you will see a large variety of living organisms, be it potted, plants, insects, birds, your pets, your other animals, and plants. There are also several organisms that you cannot see with your naked eyes, but they are all around you. You were to increase the area that you make observations in the range and variety of organisms that you see could increase. Obviously, if you were to visit a dense forest, you could probably see a much greater number and kinds of living organisms in it. Each different kind of plant, animals or organisms that you see represent a species. The range of species that are known at a described range between 1.7 to 1.8 million. This refers to biodiversity or the number and types of organisms present on Earth. We should remember here that we explore new area and even old ones. New organisms are continuously belong identified. As stated earlier, there are millions of plants and animals in the world. We know the plants and animals in your one area by their local names. These local names could vary from place to place, even within a country. Probably you could recognize the confusions that could be created if we did not find way and means to talk to each other, to refer to organisms we are talking about. Hence, there is a need to standardize the naming of living organisms such that a particular organism is known by the same name all over the world. This process is called nomenclature. Obviously, nomenclature or naming are only possible when the organism is described correctly and we know to what organism the name attached to. This is identification. In order to facilitate the study, number of scientists have stabilized producers to assigning a scientific name to each known organisms. This is acceptable to biologists all over the world. For plants, scientific names are based on agri principles and criteria which are provided in International Code of Botanical Nomenclature, that is ICBN. You may ask, how are animals named? Animals taxonomists have involved International Code of Zoologist Nomenclature, that is ICJ-10. The scientific name ensure that each organism has only one name. Descriptions of any organism should enable the people, that is in any part of the world, to arrive at the same name. They also ensure that such a name has not been used for any other non-organisms. Biologists follow universally accepted principles to provide scientific name to non-organisms. Each name has two components, the generic name and the specific epithets. This system of providing a name with two components is called binomial nomenclature. This naming system given by Carolus Linnaeus is being preceded by biologists all over the world. This naming system using a two-word format was found convenient. Let us take the example of mango to understand the way to providing scientific name better. The scientific name of mango is written as Magnifera indica. Let us see how it is a binomial name. In this name, Magnifera represents the genes, while indica is a particular species or is a specific epithets. Other universal rules of nomenclature are as follow. First, biological names are generally in Latin and written in italic. They are Latinized or derived from Latin irreversible of their origin. Second, the first word in a biological name represents the gene, while the second components donate the specific epithets. Third, both the word in a biological name, when handwritten and separately underlined or printed in italic to indicate their Latin origin. Fourth, The first word denoting the genes start with a capital letter, while the specific epithet start with a small letter. It can be inserted with the example of Magnifera indica. Name of the other appearance after the specific epithets, that is at the end of the biological name, and is written in a abbreviated form. Example: Magnifera indica, Lin. It indicates that this species was first described by Linnaeus. Since it is nearly impossible to study all the living organisms, it is necessary to devise some means to make the possible. This process is a classification. Classification is the process by which anything is grouped into convenient category based on some easily observable characters. For example, we easily recognize groups such as plants or animals or dogs, cats or insects the moment we use any of these terms. We associated certain characters with the origin in that groups. What image do you see when you think of a dog? Obviously, each one of us will see dog and not cat. Now, if we were to think of elasticians, we know what we are talking about. Similarly, suppose we are saying mammals, you could of course think of animals with external ears and body hairs. Likewise, in plants, if we try to talk of wheat, the picture in which of your minds will be of wheat plants, not be rice or any other plants. Hence, all these dogs, cats, mammal, wheat, rice, plants, animals, etc. are convenient category. We used to study organisms. The scientific terms for these categories in taxa. Here you must recognize that taxa can indicate category at very different level. Plants also form a taxa. Wheat is also a taxa. Similarly, animals, mammals, dogs are all taxa. But you know that a dog is mammal and mammal are animal. Therefore, animals, mammals, and dogs represent taxa different level. Hence, based on our characteristics, all living organisms can be classified into different taxa. This process of classification is taxonomy. External and internal structures, along with the structures of cell development process and ecological informations of organizations and essentials, and form the basis of modern taxonomic study. Hence, characterization, identifications, classifications, and nomenclatures are the process that are basis of taxonomic. Taxonomy is not something new. Human beings have always been interested to knowing more and more about the various kinds of organisms, particularly with the reference to their one use. In early days, human beings needed to find sources of their basis of need for food, clothing, and shelters. Hence, the earliest classifications were based on the use of various organisms. Human beings were since long not only interested in knowing more about different kinds of organisms and their diversities, but also the relationships among them. The branch of study was referred to as systematics. The word systematics is derived from the Latin word systema, which means systematic arrangement of organisms. Linnaeus used Systema Natures as the title of publications. The scope of systematics was later enlarged of included identification, nomenclature, and classification. Systematic takes into account involuntary relationships between organisms. 1.2 Taxonomic category. Classification is not a single step process but involves hierarchy of steps in which each step represents a rank of categories. Since the category is a part of overall taxonomic arrangement, it is called the taxonomic category, and all categories together continue the taxonomic hierarchy. Classification is not a single step process but involves hierarchy of steps in which each step represents a rank of categories. Since the category is a part of overall taxonomic arrangement, it is called taxonomic categories, and all categories together consist the taxonomic hierarchy. Each category referred to as a unit classification in fact represent a rank and is commonly termed as taxons. Taxonomic categories are hierarchy can be interested by an examples. Insect represent a group of organisms sharing common features like three pairs of jointed legs. It means insects are recognized concrete object which can be classified and thus were given a rank of category. Can you name other such groups of organisms? Remember, group represent category. Category further denote rank. Each rank or taxons in fact represent a unit of classifications. These taxonomic groups category are designating biological entity and not merely morphological aggregates. Taxonomical study of all known organisms have led to the development of common categories such as kingdom, phylum or divisions, that is for plants, class, order, family, genus and species. All organisms including these in the plants and animals kingdom have species as the lowest categories. Now the questions you may ask is how to place an organism in various categories. This basis requirement in the knowledge of characters of and individuals or groups organisms. This help in identification similarity and dissimilarities among the individuals of the same kind of organisms as well as other kinds of organisms. Species. Taxonomic study consider a group of individuals organisms with fundamental similarity as a species. One should be able to distinguish one species from the other closely related species based on distinguishing morphological difference. Let us consider Magnifera indica, Solanum tuberosum, that is potato, and Panthera leo, that is lions. All the three names indica, tuberosum, and leo represent the specific epithets, while the first word Magnifera solanacea and Panthera are genera and represent another higher level of taxonomy or categories. Each genes may have one or more than one specific epithets representing different organisms, but having morphological similarity. For example, Panthera has another species epithets called tigers, and Solanum included species like Nigrum and Melogena. Human beings belong to the species. Human beings belongs to species which is grouped in the genus Homo. The scientific name thus for human beings is written in Homo sapiens. 1.2.2 Genus. Genus comprises a group of related species which has more characters is common in comparison to species of other genera. We can say that genera are aggregate for closely related species. For example, potato and brinjals are two different species, but both belong to the genus Solanum. Lion, that is Panthera leo, leopard, that is Panthera pardus, and tigers, that is Panthera tigris, with several common features, all species of the genus Panthera. This genus differs from another genus Felis, which include cats. 1.2.3 Family. The next category, family, has a group of related genera with still less number of similarity as compared to genus and species. Families are characterized on the basis of both vegetative and reproductive features of plant species. Among plant, for example, there are different genera Solanacea, Petunia, and Dhatura are placed in the family Solanaceae. Among animals, for example, genus Panthera comprising lion, tiger, leopard is put along with genus Felis, cats in the family Felidae. Similarly, if you observe the features of cat and a dog, you will find some similarities and some difference as well as they are separately into the two different families, Felidae and Canidia respectively. 1.2.4 Order. You have seen earlier the categories like species, genus, and families are based on a number of similar characters. Generally, order and other higher taxonomic categories are identified based on aggregate of characters, order being a higher category in the assembles of families which exhibit a few similar characters. These similar characters are less in number of compared to different genera, including a family. Plants family like Convolvulus, Solanaceae are included in the order Polynesia, mainly based on the floral characters. The animal order Carnivora included families like Felidae and Canidia. 1.2.5 Class. The category included related order, for example, order Pri- order Primata comprising monkey, gorilla, and gibbon is placed in class Mammalia along with order Carnivora that include animals like together. Carnivora that include animals like tiger, cat, and dog. Class Mammalia has other order also. Phylum. Class comprising animals like fishes, amphibians, reptiles, birds, along with mammals consisting the next higher category called phylum. All these based on the common features like represent of notochord and dorsal solo neural systems are included in phylum Chordata. In case of plants, classes with a few similar characters are ascending to higher category called division. All animals belonging to various phyla are ascending to the highest category called kingdom Animalia. In the classification system of animals, the kingdom Plantae, on the other hand, is destinating and compare all plants from various divisions. Henceforth, we will refer to these two groups and animals and plant kingdom. The taxonomic category form species kingdoms have been shown in ascending order starting with species in figure 1.1. These are broad categories. However, taxonomists have also developed subcategories in this hierarchy to facilitate more sound and scientific placement of various taxa. Look at hierarchy in figure 1.1. Can you recall the basis of arrangement? Say for example, as we go higher from species to kingdom, the number of common characteristics goes on decreasing. Lower the taxa, more are the characteristics that the member within the taxons share. Higher the category, greater is the difficult of determining the relationships to other taxa at the same level. Hence, the problem of classifications become more complex. Table 1.1 indicate the taxonomic category to which some common organisms like housefly, man, mango, and wheat belong. Table 1.